What's up, everyone, and a warm welcome to Reality Decoded. And thank you for tuning in to this episode. All Out Aliens Arrival, and you can see on the screen in front of you, truth is in there. UFO report news. Pentagon files could be released tomorrow after Navy ship swarmed in a shock sighting. Now, before we dive into this article and have a quick look at some very recent articles in the last few days concerning the alien agenda, I want to point out and take this moment to say I've been telling you so for quite some time, and it was around a year ago on TSP TV that I uploaded a video titled COVID Cover-Up Project Bluebeam Staged Alien Attacks and Comet Atlas that was also at the time due to be coming very close to Earth, although Comet Atlas didn't develop into a doomsday apocalyptic event. Here we are 1 year later on the eve of what could be possible disclosure and announcement that aliens are real, they're here, and they have been visited, and this explains all the sightings in recent weeks and months, pretty much since the dawn of the COVIDian era. And furthermore, it is almost around 2 years to the week that I appeared on Marfugal News as a guest caller, and I spoke and forewarned of a deep state false flag alien event that was going to be coming some way soon to our reality. And here we are again in the midst of it. And over the last year, I've pretty much covered this as it is played out in real time. And I do have a playlist on Project Bluebeam and on the alien agenda with about 16 videos of information over the last year, and sightings and videos and such forth of a lot of UFOs, unidentified aerial phenomenon as they are being called. That being said, guys, let's have a look at this article quickly, which doesn't actually reveal very much, but it has come out in the last 6 hours, and there's also been some articles that have come out much more recently in the last couple of hours that we also will look at, as well as a few other search related stuff that's popped up that has occurred since Saturday night, which was May the 29th, I believe, where I did attempt 3 times unsuccessfully to stream live a presentation titled All Out Apocalypse, which, due to the algorithm, I believe, and some aggressive stroke passive censoring going on, that stream was taken down 3 times, and the third time my phone, although it was plugged into the charger at the time and connected to the mains, shut itself down in mainstream. And the majority of that presentation did revolve an awful lot around all out aliens, and a lot of articles have circulated and been saturated by the mainstream on news platforms, news shows, and also social media platforms, as well as saturating the search results on search engines. But this article, as we will read now without any further ado, an unclassified intelligence report into UFOs is expected to be delivered to Congress this month, which speculation it could even arrive as soon as tomorrow. And it is June the 3rd, a Thursday of 2021 at the moment. Congress passed legislation in December mandating that the Department of Defense and the National Intelligence Director to produce a report about unidentified aerial phenomena within 6 months, and the 6 months is up at the end of this month, and they are saying, as I said, we could see it as soon as tomorrow, if not late today. But the report will be unclassified and is expected to contain everything the United States government knows about UAPs, aka UFOs. The Washington Post reports, I'm sorry, but it is thought that the document could arrive as early as tomorrow, June the 4th. Read our live blog below for the latest updates. Now, this isn't disclosure that is going to be announced tomorrow. It is just the fact that Congress has requested all information that the Department of Defense has on UFOs and presents it to Congress for them to make an assessment if or not they will then make disclosure public. However, we've kind of had soft disclosure because within the last year, as I have documented very extensively at Reality Decoded and previously at TSP TV, the all-out alien agenda has been rolled out month to month and has been ramping up to pretty much this moment. But it is, as I said, not anything about disclosure. But last summer there were some videos released by the Pentagon and Department of Defense, as well as other countries such as Britain's Ministry of Defense and also Australia Space Agency, I believe, all have released what was once classified information that is now sort of declassified. Yeah, these are objects that we can't really explain and do seem to be from outer space. Now, again, any sort of future and advanced technology that humanity didn't know about would kind of seem and appear to be alien in origin, and certainly if nobody told you about it, and it could almost be indistinguishable from magic. But as I said, guys, over the last year or so, I have provided an awful lot of information on this subject, and maybe you might want to go and refresh your knowledge and rewatch some of those uploads in both the Project Bluebeam and Alien Agenda playlist. So it isn't disclosure that was requested by Congress to the Department of Defense. They just wanted to know what information and documents they have. Now, this is from the Sun newspaper in the United Kingdom, and it says, read our live blog below for the latest update. So at time of recording, guys, this is what is happening in real time. 6 minutes ago, a veteran of covert military operations says that UFOs are real. Luis Elizondo, a 20-year veteran of covert military intelligence operations, told CBS of UFOs, I'm not telling you that it doesn't sound wacky. What I'm telling you is it is real. 24 minutes ago, alien hunting group is preparing for possible contact. Canadian Armed Forces, we're going to go and look at the search results in a second in the news section of DuckDuckGo, but a lot of Canadian reports are now coming and saturating the mainstream. So 43 minutes ago, the Canadian Armed Forces reported UFOs in 2002 and 2008. Moving on, President Obama, this was from today at 4:20 almost. President Obama says his politics won't change if the Pentagon report says aliens exist. And again, he was on the Late Show that I did feature in that presentation, All at Apocalypse, which is, I believe, available to watch in upload format. Now, you won't get the same live experience, but the information is almost ever more important because more reasons than one. I've been telling you this for a long time in some of the theories that I presented of my own in that presentation about where these aliens may be coming from. They might not be from outer space, they might be aquatic aliens, and this might account for the fact that the Navy seems to be the most commonly reporter of these unidentified aerial phenomenons. But military members struggled with UFOs societies. That was from today at 4 o'clock almost. Another Canadian related one from 3:45. So it's playing out in real time, guys. Pentagon videos of UFOs, that was also from 3:30 ago. There are some pictures and a video to watch. We've seen those before. You should be familiarized with those if you have been a long time viewer here at Reality Decoded and TSP TV. So I don't want to sort of go diving into too much videos. I am just going to be showing you articles in this thing. But again, back to 3 o'clock, 10 past 3 this afternoon, dozens of UFOs sighted by the Canadian military. As I said, the Canadians are getting in on the act now. When will the report be released? From 2:52. And the United States Congress passed legislation in December mandating the Department of Defense and National Intelligence Director produce a report about unidentified phenomena. As we already heard, what is the Pentagon's UFO report set up to reveal? The UFO expected soon will examine the unidentified aerial phenomenon. What happened at Roswell, 2 o'clock this afternoon. So as I said, guys, it's almost minute-to-minute updates and articles saturating the mainstream about aliens. So let's just quickly, I mean, this goes on and on and on. Let's go to the bottom before we do click back. And as you can see, I'm not going to read each and every one to you. You can see the times and the amount of articles just today that have been making their way to mainstream regarding aliens. And is the announcement and disclosure imminent? Are we on the eve of the announcement that aliens are here and they're coming from the ocean? And but we will look at an article that within the last 4 hours also kind of suggests that that is where they're coming from, again from a former military or navy pilot, I believe. But as I said, this is happening in real time. I'm trying to put this up as quickly as I can. And there's even more entries if you want to click on that. So let's come out from the sun and let's go to the top of the search engine just to show you what has been going on in the last day. 22 hours ago, supersonic UFO skidded, reversed and disappeared, said unearthed military account. US government expected to release UFO report soon. We're going to look at that, and that came out 3 hours ago. That's the one we just looked at from the sun 6 hours ago. 34 minutes ago, Joe Rogan pushes Neil deGrasse Tyson over UFO skepticism. There are two of the establishment's paid actors that will be scripted on what to say. That won't be candid from the heart, real interview at all. So we're not going to click on that one. 14 hours ago, the Pentagon's UFO report exposes split in US Department of Defense claims, a UFO investigator says. And this is the one we're going to look at. It's actually an ex-cop. My apologies, as I said, this is happening in real time and I'm a little bit kerfuffled by all of this going on. And there is a video there. See it. See what they did there. To believe it. UFOs aren't coming from space, but they are coming from beneath the sea. As craft spotted buzzing the US Navy, claims alien hunting ex-cop. So UFOs may not be coming from space, but rather from beneath the sea amid a string of strange encounters involving US warships. And again, this is all stuff I was talking about and mentioning in that presentation that you can still watch if you choose to do so on Reality Decoded, titled All Out Apocalypse Part 2. And I did suggest that is there a reason that the Navy are seeing that these aliens are not in fact from outer space but from under the ocean, a little similar to the movie Abyss, where the aliens were aquatic. And also it was kind of, although they didn't come from under the ocean, but in a recent, although not that recent, reboot of War of the Worlds starring Tom Cruise, directed by Steven Spielberg's, the aliens had been here all along but under the earth. And rather than in the original War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, where they came in cylinders from Mars and descended upon Earth only to be taken out by the Earth germs, are these aquatic aliens going to come and make themselves known here on Earth, be it for benevolent or malevolent purposes? And if they are malevolent, and after they've done a little bit of destruction and depopulating, maybe the Earth germs of the COVID variety might be their thorn in the side and put a thwart and abruptly cease their global conquest. But UFOs, as the thing says, may be coming from the ocean, as I told you on Saturday night in that stream that was taken down 3 times in real time by the algorithm. Gary Hesseltine is the Vice President of New International Coalition for Extraterrestrial Research, which is made up of UFO researchers and scientists from 27 countries. And there is a picture of him with a little bit of red eye going on. You'd think with Photoshop and filters and all that sort of kind of photo altering technology available, they'd have done something about that, unless it was purposely left in to give him that sort of Terminator robot type appearance. But there he is holding the microphone. Look at his hands and see if there's anything going on there. He is holding up 6 fingers that are visible, and one of them looks like it could be making a triangle perhaps, and the other one 13. Make of that what you will. But he told The Sun Online recent videos showing encounters between the US Navy and UFOs, along with the Pentagon investigation, are game changers that pave the way to finally explain the unexplained and provide the official narrative of the establishment's false flag alien agenda script. But UFOs are often seen coming in and out of water, just as I showed you and spoke about in that stream, All Out Apocalypse Part 2. Do be sure to check that out. Full of interesting and almost more than relevant information at time of recording for your educational and informative purposes. But he suspects that in our deepest oceans and in the trenches of those deep oceans, we may have an alien bases. Mr. Hesseltine says we may have alien bases. And he goes on to say, it may sound crazy, but if you think about it, we only know 5% of our ocean, and we know more about the surface of the moon or Mars. If you believe that we do indeed know what more about the surface of the moon or Mars is your personal opinion. However, we do know more about those allegedly than we do our own oceans, which is very, very true. The oceans are very, very deep and unfathomable. Submarines can only submerge so far before the pressure of the ocean will cause them to deconstruct. But it would seem to me that is why UFOs are being seen regularly coming in and out of the water. And I also added that this is why so many of the Navy personnel seem to be the majority of people and witnesses that catch this unidentified aerial phenomena on camera. Mr. Hesseltine spent 6 years working with the Royal Air Force Police and 24 years with the British Transport Police, and he launched a national database for UFO sightings for cops while still serving as an officer in 2002 before retiring from the force in 2013 to focus on his research. Good, nice job if you can get it, I guess. But US intelligence officials have been ordered to compile a dossier on UFOs for Congress after a flurry of videos filmed by the US Navy and Air Force personnel were leaked. Nothing leaks that wasn't meant to. And the report is due to be released this month, as we just had established in the previous article that we looked at, and we are going to look at again slightly as briefly as we can. But strange videos show encounters with objects which appear to defy all conventional understanding of how aircraft move, and with the most recent showing 14 UFOs swarming above, again, a United States Navy ship, the USS Omaha. As Mr. Hesseltine points out, after these objects seem to appear over the sea, often appear to plunge beneath the waves, and the US has even dispatched submarines to investigate them, believe it or not. But UFOs are now more commonly referred to in scientific and intelligence circles as unidentified aerial phenomenon, part of the new normal language, removing the old familiar UFOs as we all grew up referring them to. But these have stepped away from being fringe conspiracy theories to a genuine security concern. And is that genuine security concern going to be the genuine global security concern that will require a singular global agency to take the helm and respond to whatever this alien arrival will be about? But with eager UFO enthusiasts eagerly awaiting the US report compiled by the US Congress. The ICER was formed to highlight the global implications that these UFOs could be non-human intelligence. Extraterrestrials, for those of you that don't know what a non-human intelligence is. But Mr. Heseltine also added there appears to be a correlation between UFO encounters and the world's nuclear capabilities. Is this going to be a day the Earth stood still alien arrival where they forewarn us that we need to get rid of all such technology like nuclear in fossil fuels for the sake of the climate? And please, people, don't be foolish. Go and get your vaccine. You don't want to be falling victim to COVID. The aliens are here to warn us because, believe it or not, again, in All Out Apocalypse Part 2, that stream that was taken down 3 times on Saturday, I referenced 2 recent articles that suggested that the reason we are seeing so many sightings is that these aliens and these unidentified objects are here to observe humanity's response to the COVID pandemic. You couldn't make this up, but they can. But this would seem to indicate that it is as if they are saying we don't like nuclear weapons, so they show up. And again, from the pages of The Watchmen, a piece of fiction I have told you many, many, many times to pay attention to. Go and read it. If not read it, then watch the animated motion comic of The Watchmen, in which a Cold War sees an Earth on the verge of the Russians and the United States pressing the button that would launch the all-out nuclear apocalypse and all their weapons upon each other. A deep state, false flag, hoax, alien event that takes place in Lower Manhattan and kills 3 million in the process does usher in a new world of peaceful, safe, secure society, according to the One World Directive. But maybe the article continues to say they realize we could destroy this beautiful planet. And again, this is from 1951, the day the Earth stood still, a movie we featured and spoke about recently in Retro Robots Rising Part 1, another featured stream from the last week here at Reality Decoded. You might want to check that out also if you're a little bit interested in robotics and where we may be led to a Terminator Robocop society. But drawing together the nuclear and underwater theories, Mr. Heseltine said, if you think about it, if there was a World War III and we made toxic all the water, then that would affect their habitat too. That's why I think there's a correlation with the water. They have bases and we only know 5% of the ocean. Again, told you this Saturday night in All Out Apocalypse Part 2, that there is a reason, and maybe the narrative will be that they do come from beneath the waves. But UAPs have become a hot topic issue as the deadline approaches. Conveniently enough, as I said, it has been ramping up week to week, day to day, and as we've seen today, hour to hour, almost minute to minute updates on the alien agenda. But they have become a hot topic as the deadline approaches, and with more and more US military footage leaking, nothing leaks it wasn't meant to, and pressure mounting on governments to come clean. And so far, there are no definitive public answers as to what appears to be happening in our skies. However, US officials rather have started taking the unprecedented step of confirming the authenticity of strange videos filmed by warships and warplanes. And they have admitted they do not know the origin of the unusual objects, as calls grow in the United States for widespread disclosure to figure out what, if anything, the world's governments are hiding on UFOs. And maybe sort of the fact that they've been hiding this might be a reason to dismantle and disestablish such governments and usher in a one world government that won't hide such things from the public, as long as you comply, share and agree with the One World Directive and copy and paste your thoughts and opinions to your One World provided social media platforms. But competing theories on the strange videos continue to rage, with some grounded on Earth claiming the videos capture never before seen military aircraft or drones, which is what I'm speculating, while others claim it shows otherworldly class crafts possibly piloted by aliens. Now, this is a pretty long article that I'm not going to read any further, so I do want to keep this upload a little bit brief and short, and hopefully, maybe, possibly tonight, we might do a reality decoded, real-time UFO all-out alien agenda watch and check what is happening minute to minute, live and in real time. But back to the recent sightings in reports and news articles on mainstream media platforms. You can see here again from the Daily Mail a day ago, the Canadian military are beginning to come in on the act. 2 days ago, we can't ignore this, UFO sightings spark concern from more than just conspiracy theorists. The Sun again, UFO sightings, latest news, unidentified flying object files may be released today on June the 1st as vid shows the ship being swarmed. The Pentagon's UFO report is coming soon. Here's what it's likely to say. Again, Obama, the leading spokesperson on this all-out alien agenda, is saying that sightings will hopefully hopes that aliens would solidify humanity again, solidify under the one world order, perhaps, and that is from a day ago. So, as I said, guys, let's go back up a little bit to which one was we going to look at? The one that was out 3 hours ago. Sorry, lost my direction there. This one is no, we just looked at that. My apologies here, guys. As I said, a little bit exciting, also a little bit worrying, to be honest with you. Sorry, it was this one. IGN. The US government expected to release UFO reports, and here's what to expect. And this was released at 2:24 this afternoon at time of recording by someone, Adele Anchors. And double A, there's also double name, double-barreled name like Peter Parker, for example, with these sort of paid reporters, should we say. But a report detailing experiences and sightings of identified aerial phenomena is scheduled to be released in June from the United States DoD. We know all about that. But they are commonly known as unidentified flying objects, UFOs. For those of us that have been around on the Earth for a little while, we've always called them UFOs, and it has only sort of been recently in the last sort of year or so that they have been called UAPs. But they have been long a source of fascination and fascination, as they have been to me and some of you, of course, that do follow along. We spoke about aliens quite a lot and frequently here, but sightings have been frequently reporting, but this month we might get closer than the truth than ever before, as top intelligence and government officials in the US have apparently circled a date in their diaries by which they must submit an unclassified report to Congress about the unidentified aerial phenomena, according to the Intelligence Authorization Act. The Act requires the UAP task force to publicly share and report and security strategies for their findings within 180 days of the 2021 Act, as it was previously reported. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, this report is expected to present the most substantive US government account and detailed analysis of UFO data and the intelligence to date. So instead of flinging pencils at the ceiling a la Fox Mulder, you might want to grab another writing instrument to make a note of all the important details you know about the upcoming. Who it was compiled by was the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense, were the two figureheads tasked with compiling the report, which is to be presented to the Congressional Intelligence and Armed Service Committees for them to decide if or not disclosure will happen. But the report may also include several other sources, as it is understood that some of the information has been garnered from military personnel and accounts currently in the classified files. What can we expect? There has been much speculation about what the report may reveal about UFOs particularly, and what the government knows about the decades of sightings that we have that have been recorded in the American airspace. And the report is likely to provide further details about these incidents and also add to previous findings by offering a much deeper analysis of the data than has ever been conducted before. The legislation passed last year calls for the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force to collect all available information about unexplained sightings, and the team must then present a detailed analysis of their findings, including the various ways that the data has been collected and any incidents or patterns in the records that could potentially indicate cause for concern or a threat to national security. As ING previously covered, the US task force is mostly concerned with UFOs that are possible foreign aircraft rather than alien aircraft, and any new aviation tech that gives a rival nation or possible enemy an advantage, or aircraft used to spy on US military installations. The report will likely assess whether past sightings can be attributed to an adversary rather than aliens. The data will also be likely to be accompanied by detailed accounts of past incidents involving unidentified objects in the skies, pulled from heretofore classified military files. According to the former Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, the report will describe events of an unidentified aerial phenomena from all over the world. And again, if there are going on all over the world, these so-called unidentified aerial phenomenon sightings, and they are of an aggressive alien nature, then again, will this require a one world organization to deal and combat it rather than individual governments trying to battle on their own against highly and greater advanced aggressors? But he also noted there are a lot more sightings than have ever been made public. So again, this is another pretty long one, so we're not going to kind of read it all, but it does kind of saying there that most of what classifies as an authentic sighting are mostly objects that have been seen and witnessed by Navy or Air Force pilots and have been picked up by satellite imagery that frankly engage in actions that are difficult to explain and movements that are hard to replicate with technology that is made known and is common knowledge publicly, like aircraft, helicopters, and that we're all very, very common with, and we know how they behave. But any sort of hidden technology might be able to replicate what we are seeing and is being classified as unidentified aerial phenomenon. But they go on to say that we don't have the technology for or traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom. The report is expected to provide details on several UAP sightings, including the previously leaked, nothing leaks it wasn't meant to, military videos that purported to show US Navy encounters with UAPs in 2004 and 2015. And these videos were then leaked in 2007 and 2017 and were declassified by the Pentagon. In a statement, the Pentagon confirmed that the aerial phenomenon observed in the videos remain characterized as unidentified. Another set of sightings hit the headlines this year as 3 photos showing identified aerial phenomenon were released in an article made by Mystery Wire. About the same time, Extraordinary Beliefs posted video footage of what appeared to be a triangular shaped unidentified flying object in the sky. And there have been a lot of triangular shaped unidentified flying objects caught in the sky and recorded on video, including one over my hometown of Swindon that is in the county of Wiltshire in England. And Obama again has been offering his assessment. As we've heard, he is the main spokesman, it would seem, for this agenda, and is providing the majority of the official narrative that will be repeated by other mainstream perpetrators of this alien agenda, possible hoax arrival. Whether or not they are aggressive or friendly, we will see. And it goes on to quote the Late Late Show, which we did feature and mention in that All Out Apocalypse. So we're not going to read from his quotes. Hopefully you will be aware of what Barack Obama, former president, had to say on the matter. Why is it being released? Former Donald Trump, the president, signed off a coronavirus relief and government funding bill in December. Very interesting that within that coronavirus relief and government funding bill back in December of 2020, he directed the relevant parties to also produce detailed analysis of unidentified aerial phenomena data and intelligence. And the stipulation was formally filed under the Advanced Aerial Threats in the committee comments. There is the link to the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021. If you want to remember that, put it in the search bar. You can read it for yourself. I'm not going to click it on there. When will it be reported? When will the report be presented? And back in 2020 of December, they were given 180 days, making the deadline June 2021. We are in June 2021. As I said, it could be any day now that this report is made public, and if not, global disclosure is announced as a result of that being handed over to Congress. We will wait and see. But these recent sightings, including this swarm that they're talking about where 14 UFOs were seen over a US warship, is probably the sort of final seed plantation before the drill goes live, so to speak. But after the report was requested, officials were given 180 days, as we just mentioned, and the Washington Post notes that the law directing intelligence agencies to produce the report was not technically binding, as the language, good old language, legalese, was included in the Senate Intelligence Committee report on the bill, not the bill itself. So there could be a delay in presenting the write-up. So although the deadline is approaching, and although they are saying maybe it could be as soon as tomorrow, maybe even later today, there is stipulation in the legalese that will give the Department of Defense a window of opportunity to delay it, as is often the case with legal proceedings. But the Senate Intelligence Committee report on the bill and not the bill itself, so there could be a delay in presenting the write-up, as we just read. In other words, it isn't statute. I can't read that word properly. But the agency stroke departments generally treat report language as bill language, one senior senator aide said to the Washington Post. So again, a little bit of an understanding of legalese. Although they have been requested and given 180 days, which is almost up, to present this, they can delay the proceedings due to the legalese within that bill. But while it is unclear how much of the report will be made available to those outside of Congress, particularly for national security purposes, as I said, this isn't, they have till June to announce disclosure. They just have to present everything they have on their files to Congress for them to then decide if or not disclosure will be made public. So, as I said, it might not be made available to anybody outside of Congress, particularly for national security purposes, but knowledge of the report and any shareable findings are likely to stay in the public conversation for a long time to come. And it will perhaps become clear that UFO sightings merit more attention, sparking renewed interest in the broader conversation of unexplained aerial phenomenon, and that broader conversation will be controlled greatly and extensively by the establishment, as they will want to provide the official narrative pro and against what is going on in the skies above. So as I said, we're not going to watch any of these videos. That conversation will be directed by the findings of the report, and particularly whether the unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as anomalous aerial vehicles, may be attributed to one or more foreign adversaries, and whether there is any indication a potential adversary may have achieved breakthrough aerospace capabilities that could put the United States strategic or conventional forces at risk. Not so much worried about the United States public there, it would seem. According to USA Today, the White House has already weighed in on any potential implications of the report, stressing that the safety of their personnel, security of operations, and airspace are of paramount concern. Again, no paramount concern for the public. But we take reports of incursions to our airspace by any aircraft, unidentified or identified, very, very seriously and investigate each and every one. The White House press security Jen Psaki told reporters during a May 25th briefing just last week. As I said, it goes on and on and on, and actually I think that is the end of it, so we will read that last paragraph. Sorry, I was looking on the side of there and I thought it continued a little bit further. But the committee, we will finish up by saying, also instructed the UAP task force to establish a more streamlined approach to investigating the topic, noting that currently there is no unified comprehensive process within the federal government for collecting and analyzing intelligence on UAPs. The report will present recommendations regarding the increased collection of data, enhanced research and development, and additional funding and any other resources that could assist future studies. So as I said, I thought it did go on a little bit longer, and as you can kind of see, there's a whole bunch of stuff at the bottom of the page. So that was the article of interest that I wanted to sort of bring to you, that sort of told you a little bit what this report is. And although they are not necessarily requested to present these in June, the deadline is almost up, and it isn't exactly to be made public what what is contained within the reports. We will just be probably told that the reports have been made handed over to Congress, and Congress are making of them what they will. So as I said, it isn't actually disclosure that we are on the eve on, or it may well be an emergency disclosure event with regards to this recent sighting. So we are going to start wrapping this episode up for you all out aliens arrival, and hopefully you found it a little bit interesting and informative, and hopefully maybe we will do a real-time reality decoded all-out alien UFO watch later this evening, as it does seem to be playing out in real time, almost minute to minute. As you saw, there's been an awful lot of stuff circulating in the last 24 hours, and in particular in the last couple of hours. So what happens between now and later this evening I will be keeping an eye on. So hopefully, if you are watching this before Thursday, the 3rd of June, you might be able to tune in and join us for that live stream, all out alien real time role playing. See what's going on with the mainstream media and see if there are any developments on this, reports and announcements on what could be explaining this aerial phenomena that we have been seen since then. But until the next time, and if you are lucky enough to tune in later, take care, be steady, I guess keep an eye on the skies. Most importantly, be excellent to each other. This was Reality Decoded, brought to you by Ship Video Productions, and take care till next time. See you soon, guys.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world. The longer you live, the more you will realize that the only things that truly exist in this reality are merely pain, suffering, and futility. Listen. Everywhere you look in this world, wherever there is light, there will always be shadows to be found as well.